All right, I have a spicy little core and standing sequence for you using my favorite YogaTribe blocks. Really amplifies the feedback between the body and the brain. So if you've ever done a class with me, you'll know I'm big on core integration. There's so many varieties of movements and activations that we can do to improve your posture, but also your movement patterns. So we'll only need one block for this, and you can begin on your backs. Just start with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, and let's just place the hands over the belly. Start to tune into your breath. There's no need to change the breath at all. Just become aware of breath. Mapping out the main postural centers across the back of the pelvis, the back of the shoulders, and the back of the skull. And start to tune into this abdominal center. And visualize here, like the fabric of the abdomen, almost like when you pull the drawstring on a hoodie, so that all of this abdominal fabric is gathering inwards, and you can even do that with your hands to amplify that action, and then draw all of the abdominal contents down towards the spine. Now that makes this nice stability for the low back and this integration of the front body into the back body. And you can still breathe here, you can still utilize the diaphragm and the rib cage. Okay? So this is a great activation if you do have any low back injuries or you're returning after pregnancy. Just this transverse abdominis activation, you could stay here and then just slowly build it up. Stage 2 is keeping this activation and then bringing one thigh up, so the thigh straight up from the hip socket. Keep that activation, you can bring the second leg up. So that would be our second progression, just moving through those, really keeping that active center. If you've got all of that, you can bring both legs up. And now this is challenging enough here. It's simple, but it's super challenging. Okay, now here's the super spicy part. So you can work up to this. We'll bring the block between your right thigh and your elbow. So you're pulling your thigh in, pressing the elbow. So you're getting this like lat to lower back connection, and you're also isometrically contracting through the psoas. We'll take the left hand behind the head. So inhale. As you exhale, curl up, head and shoulder blades lift up off the floor. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift up, and the head's resting back into the hand. I'm not pulling on the head. And now reach that left leg away. Good. Inhale to lower. I told you it was spicy. Exhale to lift. Left leg reaches away, and don't lower it too far. Inhale, return. We've got 3 more. So exhale, curl up. Keep that activation in the belly. Inhale. Exhale to lift. Left leg reaches. Inhale. Exhale to lift one more time. And return. We'll take the block out and we'll pause just for a minute. Place the block on your belly and reset. So what we don't want to lose is that feeling through the abdominal wall and the low back. If you lose that at all, come back, scale it back, or reset. Okay, so it's better to train really good movement patterns. So we'll bring the legs back up, integrating all of the front body. Now left elbow pushes into the block, pull with the thigh, hand behind the head. Inhale, exhale to lift. Good, mapping out the movement, head rests back in your hands. Inhale, exhale to lift, stay lifted, right leg reaches away, and don't lower it too low or else you will lose the lower back. Inhale, exhale, good, right leg reaches away. Inhale, exhale to lift, reach the leg away. Inhale, return. You've got 2 more. Exhale, lift it up. Good, you're stronger than you think. Stay with it. Last one. And reach. Then we'll bring it back in. We'll pop the block off to the side and hug the knees in. I say that using props in practice is a really intelligent way to practice. Sometimes blocks make things easier and more accessible, and other times the blocks can be a little bit evil and make things more dynamic and more active and challenging. So from here, curl in, you could rock up or you could roll off to the side. We're going to come up onto hands and knees position. So the wrists are right in underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll take a few cat-cows here because after that abdominal work, the cow feels really nice to open through the front body. Then we're going to come into a flat back position. I'm going to take one of the blocks, bring it onto the low back. So I want it in that space just where the pelvis and the low back meet. Bring the back of the hand onto the block so you've got a bit more feedback. And then gather all of that abdominal fabric inwards and upwards so you feel really good contact there in the low back. Then sneak the hand back to the floor, maintaining that position in your pelvis and your low back. Sneak your right leg back behind you, put your brain into your right glute, so you fire the glute to just hover that foot just off the floor, and that might even mean that you just point the toes. What we're doing here is bringing the hip purely into extension without involving the pelvis and the low back. And then if you want to add on a little bit more, you can reach that left arm alongside the left ear. And then bring it all back in. Reset. And then sneak that left leg back. Brain into the left glute, lift the left leg, hugging everything in towards that midline, and then reach the arm by the ear. Bring it back down, stealthily change sides, and change. So what the block is doing, it's giving more information, more feedback via the nervous system, so the brain and the body are really communicating well. We'll pop the block down. I'll place my hands a little further forward, my knees a little further back, and tuck the toes under. I want to create that same lift that I just had in the belly, pressing firmly into my hands, draw the shoulder blades away from the ears, so that as I start to take my buttocks back, I'm not trying to get my buttocks all the way to the heels. I'm trying to keep my front body lifting up into the back body. So I'm really long and strong there. I'm going to take a full inhale to stabilize the shoulders. And then lift the knees just up off the floor. And then take it all the way up and back into the downward facing dog. Take a full smooth breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Smooth breath in. And as you exhale, strongly extend through the arms and the legs at the same time. Really finding that length through the spine. From here, we'll take the right leg up and back with that same feeling in the belly. Then as you exhale, step all the way through. We'll bring the block in against the inner ankle. And plant the hand so that then you can turn, swivel the back heel down, and you've got this good contact between your arm and your knee so that you can bring the right sit bone in underneath you, find the length through both sides of your waist, and then reach this left arm up and over by the ear, Parsvakonasana, the side angle pose. And then maybe start to turn the chest up. Then we'll come up, we're going to bring the block with us, up onto this right thigh, and then we're going to press the elbow against the block. I like to bring my left hand onto the left side of my pelvis so I can remember to keep the pelvis pretty neutral. We're going to start to transfer our weight forward. So we're going to shift, step in, pause, really create this connection here so you've got the obliques on. Then we come into the active half moon. So we start to lift that left leg straight up to the sky. Then we're going to step slowly, left foot in alongside the right. Look forward as you start to peel the right foot off the floor, keeping that integration of front body to back body. As you pull the right thigh up, press down with the elbow, and then rise up through the crown of the head. We'll keep that connection and tension. Lower the right foot down, shift into the right foot to take the left leg back. Slowly lower the left leg, and we'll come into the side angle here. So I'm really bringing that right sit bone underneath me. And comes back onto the left side of the pelvis. We'll do this sequence once more, so shift forward. If balance is tricky, just stay here on the toe tips. Otherwise, shift the weight into the right foot. Then step it up. Shift your gaze, your focal point out in front of you as you transfer and lift. Then we'll take it back, right foot lowers, left leg steps back. Now we can take this block out, pop it against the inner ankle. We'll come back into our side angle. Now with all of that activation in my body, this feels amazing. Everything's lit up, everything's supported so that there's ease. Your nervous system registers that support. Good, hands to the floor, down dog. And so it allows you to find this easefulness, keeping the nervous system regulated even under challenge and pressure. So we'll keep that feeling in the abdominal wall. Left leg goes up, and then step it all the way through. And if it doesn't quite make it to where you want it, you can always grab and help that leg. We'll bring the block in against the inner ankle, hand onto the block, swivel that back heel down, and begin to settle in. So you want to scoop this left sit bone in underneath you so that you can lean back. Lengthen that left side of your waist, and then bring the right arm out around by the ear. Maybe turn the chest up a little bit more. And that feels really nice in my right side after that active work. Bring the right hand onto that side of the pelvis just as a reminder, and then we'll bring the block up. Elbow presses down, start to shift forward. Keep a bend in this left knee, right leg lifts. And so you're using the glute meds to lift that right leg straight up to the sky. Moving from the centered awareness, step the right foot up. Start to transfer the weight and then lift. So we're integrating upper and lower body, moving together. Slowly step that left foot down. Transfer the weight. Slide this right leg back again through the active half moon, keeping the right shoulder turned up. Reach it back, side angle, long and strong. Hand onto the pelvis, shift it forward, keep your eyes steady. Step it up. Shift the weight into that right foot to pivot and lift. Finding the length between the tailbone and the crown of the head. Slowly step it down. Shift the weight into the left foot. Right leg goes back to open out. Then step it all the way back. Land it. Block comes in against the inner ankle. Top arm over. Notice how that feels. So the nervous system registers that support. There's a sense of safety within so that you then can be free to move safely through your full range. And bring the hands back down. We'll come through the downward facing dog.